Let us begin with a principle that many find difficult to accept. A woman's respect can endure almost any hardship, except for the revelation of a certain kind of truth. You have been taught that honesty is the foundation of any strong connection, and that is correct. But Stoic wisdom lies in understanding that not all truths are created equal. Some truths build, while others demolish. There are certain confessions, certain revelations from a man, that can permanently alter a woman's perception of his character. This is not because she is shallow or uncaring. It is because she, like all of us, is wired to respond to perceived strength and internal fortitude. When a man's words betray a deep-seated insecurity, a lack of self-governance, or a mind not in command of itself, an emotional switch is flipped, and it is a switch that rarely, if ever, can be flipped back. The affection may remain, the friendship may endure, but the spark, the profound admiration that is the bedrock of deep, primal attraction, that is what vanishes. This is why this conversation is so critical. The error is not in your desire for honesty. The error is in what your uncontrolled honesty reveals. It can expose a lack of the masculine frame she is instinctively wired to respect and feel safe with. This guide is not about deception or learning to be fake. It is about the Stoic discipline of wise communication. We will dissect the 5 confessions that signal this internal weakness. By understanding these, you will learn to communicate from a position of authentic, grounded strength, ensuring your words build the admiration you seek, instead of silently and permanently destroying it. It is about learning to speak not just from your heart, but from your core. Principle 1. Stop confessing your insecurities to her. The first truth you must understand is a difficult one. A woman is not built to carry the weight of your emotional insecurities in the way a brother in arms or a therapist is. When you constantly unload your doubts, your fears, and your feelings of inadequacy onto her, it does not, as you might hope, make her feel closer to you. It makes her begin to lose respect for you. Now, do not misunderstand this principle. This is not to say that a man can never be vulnerable. True vulnerability, when it is rare, intentional, and shared from a position of strength, can actually deepen attraction. It shows you know yourself. But there is a vast and crucial difference between this controlled vulnerability and the chaotic act of dumping every insecurity that crosses your mind. The truth is, when a man starts confessing things like, "I'm not good enough," or "I'm scared you'll leave me for someone better," it immediately shifts the polarity of the relationship. Why? Because on a deep instinctual level, a woman is drawn to a man's emotional strength. Not his physical strength, but his fortitude, his steadfastness, his ability to be the calm in the storm. She wants to feel that she can lean on you. She wants to feel secure in your presence. The moment you start coming to her for constant validation, every time you feel shaky inside, you are no longer the man she can lean on. You are now the man leaning on her. And whether she admits it or not, that is when her attraction begins to slip away. Let me paint this clearly. Imagine you are on a date. The chemistry is strong. But instead of maintaining a confident, playful frame, you say something like, "I don't know why a beautiful woman like you even likes me." Or, "I always get nervous that I'm going to mess this up." In your mind, you are just being honest. But in her mind, a seed of doubt has been planted. She is thinking, "Wait, if he doesn't even believe in himself, why should I believe in him?" That single confession, born of a fleeting insecurity, begins to erode the foundation of her admiration. The obsession, the deep craving she might have felt for you, it begins to fade. A Stoic understands this. Your insecurities are your own to contend with. They are impressions or fantasia that your reason must examine and dismiss. They are not truths to be handed over to a woman for her to soothe. That is an unjust abdication of your emotional responsibility. Your inner work is your own. The more you make her your emotional dumping ground, the more you strip away the very masculine energy that made her attracted to you in the first place. Work on your insecurities in private, with trusted men, or with a professional. But with her, project the strength you are building, not the weakness you are trying to overcome. Principle 2. Why talking about past struggles backfires. Men often believe that if they open up about every painful detail of their past, a woman will admire them for their honesty and their resilience. But here is the raw truth: oversharing your past struggles, especially too early, rarely makes a woman more attracted to you. In fact, it often has the opposite effect. When you sit with a woman and give her a detailed inventory of your past wounds, how you were broke, how you were cheated on, how you felt disrespected growing up, you think you are giving her the raw, authentic version of yourself. You are hoping she will see you as a man who has overcome so much. But what she often feels in that moment is heaviness. It does not excite her. It does not spark desire. It forces her to see you through the lens of your old wounds, instead of through the lens of the strong man you are today. Do not get me wrong. A woman of quality appreciates a man with depth. She does not want someone who is shallow or fake. But there is a monumental difference between being a man with depth and being a man who constantly drags the anchor of his past into the present. When you make your old struggles a centerpiece of your conversation, you are forcing her to inhabit that weaker version of you, the very version you are supposed to have already grown past. The Stoic understands that the past is an external. It is outside of our control. We learn from it, we extract wisdom from it, but we do not live in it. To constantly speak of it is to signal that it still has power over you. The reality is that women are naturally forward, looking when it comes to attraction. We are drawn to where a man is going, not where he has been stuck. When you remind us too much of your past hardships, you risk anchoring our perception of you to a weaker, less attractive image. Even if you have moved on, the very fact that you are bringing it up tells us that on some level, those struggles still define you. There is another layer here most men miss. When you unload your past too quickly, you rob her of the space to form her own perception of you. Instead of her discovering your strength through your present actions, she is forced to listen to you explain your old weaknesses. That strips away the mystery. It removes the opportunity for attraction to grow organically. It is not that you can never share your past. In fact, revealing pieces of your story at the right time can make you even more magnetic. But that time is after she is already invested. After she has already seen your strength, your confidence, and your character in action. Then, when she learns what you have overcome, it doesn't define you. It deepens her admiration for the man you have become. The timing makes all the difference. Present yourself as the man you are today, not the man you were yesterday. Principle 3: never reveal your weakness with other women. This secret is about understanding the subtle but powerful law of social proof. It is one of the fastest ways to kill a woman's budding attraction. Never ever tell her how badly you have failed with other women. I know some men think this kind of confession shows humility or a relatable honesty. But from her perspective, it reveals weakness in the one area where she wants to perceive you as strong, competent, and desirable. Here is what I mean. When you tell a woman that you have been rejected a lot, that women never took you seriously, or that your ex treated you poorly, she does not think, "Wow, he's being so real with me." What she actually, instinctively, thinks is, "If other women didn't value him, why should I?" That is the quiet, unspoken truth. Women do not want to feel like they are selecting a man that no one else wanted. Attraction is not just about how you make us feel individually. It is also influenced by how you are perceived socially. When you position yourself as the guy who was overlooked, mistreated, or ignored by other women, you lose that aura of desirability. Because whether we admit it or not, we are influenced by pre-selection. If other women see you as valuable, we naturally assume there must be something special about you. It creates intrigue. If you tell us other women didn't want you, it raises a red flag in our minds, even if you're a great guy. And it's not just about your past relationships. Even small, seemingly harmless comments like, "I've never been good at approaching women," or "Girls usually just friend zone me," are like tiny self-inflicted wounds to your own attractiveness. It is self-sabotage. You think you're being transparent, but what you are really doing is making her question, why she should feel desire for you, when you are actively telling her that you do not believe you are desirable. A Stoic man understands this dynamic. His past is his past. His past failures are lessons, not labels. He doesn't need to confess his past weaknesses because he is focused on demonstrating his present strength. Confidence is not about pretending to be perfect. It is about standing in your present power without undermining yourself with unnecessary and unhelpful admissions. If you have had a rough past with women, that is fine. But that is not something she needs to know in detail. It does not build intimacy. It does not build trust. And it certainly does not build obsession. It only puts her in a position of superiority over you, which is never where you want her to be. Here is the strategic play. Let her experience the version of you that other women may have overlooked. Let her feel like she has discovered the man that others were blind to. That creates excitement. That creates a feeling of special connection. But if you reveal your past struggles with women directly, you rob her of that entire experience of discovery. Principle 4. Don't overshare your fears about the future. A man's relationship with the future is a powerful indicator of his internal state. A woman is wired to seek a sense of security in a partner. This does not mean she needs you to be rich or have a perfect 5-year plan. It means she needs to feel that when the winds of life blow, you will be a steady oak, not a trembling leaf. When you overshare your fears and doubts about what lies ahead, it does not draw her closer. It makes her question whether you are a man she can truly trust to lead both himself and a potential family. This is a failure of the virtue of courage. Stoic courage is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to face uncertainty and potential hardship with reason and resolve. When you constantly tell a woman things like, "I'm scared I'll never succeed," or, "What if I can't provide the kind of life you want?" Those fears do not make her want to comfort you in the way you might think. Instead, they plant seeds of doubt. She starts asking herself, "Can I actually rely on him? Will he crumble when real pressure hits?" Those questions are the silent assassins of her attraction. Understand this: women fall for men who project a sense of direction. It doesn't matter if your life is perfect right now. What matters is that you carry yourself with a quiet certainty, even when the path ahead is uncertain. That confidence is magnetic. It makes her feel safe. It makes her feel excited to be by your side. This does not mean you should act like a robot with no fears at all. That is inauthentic. But there is a monumental difference between acknowledging a challenge and making your fear the centerpiece of your identity in front of her. A man who demonstrates stoic courage might say, "The economy is uncertain, so I'm focusing on developing these new skills to stay ahead." He has acknowledged a fear, but framed it with action and resolve. The man who kills attraction says, "I'm terrified I'm going to lose my job and not know what to do." He has simply confessed his fear, revealing a lack of internal fortitude. This is a difficult principle for many men to master: the courage to face uncertainty with resolve. In the comments, I'd be interested to hear from the men who have done this. What was the internal shift that gave you the strength to face the future, not with fear, but with a commitment to your own path? Your story is a testament to the power of this principle. The irony is that women can handle far more uncertainty than men realize, as long as the man she is with carries himself with confidence. We will walk through storms with you, but only if you give us a reason to believe you are capable of navigating them. If you sound like you are already defeated before the battle begins, it makes us question why we should enlist in your cause at all. Principle 5. Why telling her she's out of your league destroys you. One of the most self-destructive mistakes a man can make is to put a woman on a pedestal and then verbally announce that he has done so. The moment you say something like, "I can't believe a woman like you is with me," or the fatal phrase, "You're way out of my league," you think you are complimenting her. But what a woman hears is a clear confession from your own mouth: "I see myself as beneath you." And from a Stoic perspective, you have just committed a profound error of judgment. You have judged both yourself and her based on superficial externals. her beauty, her status, which the Stoics called indifference. And you have judged your own worth to be less than hers based on these same shallow metrics. You have revealed that you do not understand where true value resides, which is in character and virtue. This instantly destroys the balance in the relationship. A woman does not want to feel like she is dating a fan. She wants a partner, an equal, someone who recognizes her value, but who is so secure in his own that he is not intimidated by it. When you lower yourself, even with what you think is a flattering comment, you destroy the polarity. We stop looking at you as the man we admire and start looking at you as the man who put himself beneath us. And a woman cannot stay obsessed with a man she does not respect as an equal. The correct approach is not to withhold compliments, but to give them from a position of strength and equality. Instead of saying, "You're out of my league," which is about her status relative to yours, say something like, "I really admire the way you handle challenges," which is about her character. Instead of saying, "I can't believe you're with me," say, "I genuinely enjoy my time with you." Do you see the difference? The first set of phrases comes from a place of submission. The second comes from a place of appreciation between two equals. A man of value does not need to convince her he is worthy. He knows he is, and his words reflect that quiet, unshakable certainty. Principle 6: the courage to walk away. This principle is not something you say. It is something you must be willing to do. It is the foundation of all masculine strength and self-respect. It is the courage to walk away. Most men cling to relationships long past their expiration date, not because of love, but because of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of losing what is familiar, even if that familiarity is toxic. But the ability to walk away from a dynamic where you are undervalued, ignored, or disrespected is the ultimate demonstration of your self-worth. It signals to a woman, and more importantly to yourself, that your dignity is not for sale. It tells her that you value your own principles more than you value her approval. Respect, as we have said, is the oxygen of attraction. When a man stays in a situation where he is consistently disrespected, he is teaching her that his boundaries do not matter. And once she learns that, she loses respect. And without respect, all attraction suffocates and dies. This is why walking away, when necessary, is not an act of weakness. It is the ultimate show of self-respect. Now, a mature man does not run from problems at the first sign of conflict. He addresses them directly, with calm and reason. But there is a line. If you have communicated your needs clearly, if you have set your boundaries, and she continues to cross them without care, then the strongest, most stoic thing you can do is to step back. That action triggers something powerful in a woman that men often underestimate: the fear of loss. She suddenly realizes that she is not dealing with a boy who needs her, but with a man who values himself enough to choose peace over chaos. She is forced to reevaluate her own behavior. She may step up, she may not. But either way you win, because you have refused to betray yourself for her attention. The courage to walk away ensures that no matter what happens, you never lose the most important relationship you will ever have, the one with yourself. Prink 7: how true value creates irreplaceability. Every man wants to be unforgettable in a woman's life, but very few understand how to achieve it. Most men rely on the superficial, their looks, their money, their charm, but these things fade, or they can be replaced by someone with more. What never fades, and what can never truly be replaced, is the value you bring to her life as a man who stands firm in his strength, his self-respect, and his purpose. That is what makes you irreplaceable. Attraction may get her attention, but it is your value that keeps her invested. A man who is grounded in his principles, who knows his worth without arrogance, who does not tolerate disrespect, and who can lead himself without needing her approval, he is the kind of man she does not easily forget. Why? Because most men do not operate that way. They compromise, they bend, they lose themselves in the pursuit of keeping a woman around, and in doing so, they lose the very essence that made her interested in the first place. Irreplaceability is not about being perfect. It is about being authentic and consistent in your character. If you set a standard, you enforce it. If you have a mission, you pursue it. If you give love, it is because you want to, not because you are desperate for it in return. This steadfastness creates a deep imprint on her psychology. She knows that even if the relationship were to end, she would not find another man like you easily, because most men bend under pressure, while you stand tall. Women talk. They compare. They measure every new man against the one who impacted them the most. If you are the man who showed her discipline, confidence, and the strength to walk away when necessary, you will always be remembered. Even if her pride will not let her admit it, you become the standard, the silent benchmark against which every future man is measured. That is the real power of true value. Your goal is not to keep her. Your goal is to make her realize, through your unwavering character, that losing you means losing something rare and profound. And when she knows that, she will fight harder to keep you than you will ever need to fight to keep her. Here's the truth you can't afford to ignore. Most men lose attraction not because they lack looks or money, but because they talk themselves out of the game. Your words matter. They are the audible evidence of your internal state. What you say tells a woman everything about how you see yourself, and whether you are a man to be respected or a man to be walked away from. The hard truth is that attraction cannot be negotiated, begged for, or earned through sympathy. It is a response to perceived strength, and the fastest way to kill that response is to speak like a man who does not believe he deserves it. When you confess your insecurities, when you place her on a pedestal, when you reveal a lack of direction, you are not being honest. You are confessing that you believe you are not enough. And the second you give off that energy, she instinctively checks out. This is not about being fake. It is about being aware. Every time you speak, you are either building the architecture of her respect for you, or you are tearing it down. So if you have said any of the things we've talked about today, do not waste a moment on shame. That is a useless passion. Instead, wake up, adjust, grow. This is not about being perfect. It is about being sharp, self-aware, and grounded in your value as a man. If this guide has sharpened your awareness of how your words shape your reality, then like this video. Share it with another man who is learning the power of his words. And subscribe to the Stoic Manhood Guide to continue the great work of building a character that needs no introduction. Remember, let your actions speak of your strength, so your words never have to confess your weakness.